A military camp on the northern Joseon border. Night. Torches. The sounds of battle somewhere in the distance. Inside the largest tent, General Choi Won stands over a map table with the posture of a man born for war. He looks magnificent. He is also gripping the tent pole hard enough to leave fingerprints. The year is 1485. General Choi Won has served the Joseon military for 14 years. In those 14 years, he has commanded 37 battles. He has won all 37. His enemies call him the Ghost Tiger of the North, a warrior so fast, so ferocious, so supernaturally skilled that no one has ever caught a clear look at him in actual combat. Lieutenant O enters, blood on his armor, sword drawn. Lieutenant O. General. The northern flank has pushed them back as ordered. Your strategy worked perfectly again, sir. General Choi, composing himself, of course it did. I planned it. Lieutenant O.H., whispering, are you all right, sir? You look pale. General Choi, also whispering, I heard very loud noises. Oh, Deoksu. Lieutenant O.H., those were swords, sir. There was a battle. General Choi, I am aware of what they were. I simply prefer to observe from a strategic position. Lieutenant O, you were inside the tent with your fingers in your ears. General Choi, I was thinking very loudly. A victory. General Choi. Ghost Tiger. The general smiles and steps out of the tent to receive his men's adoration. He waves heroically. A small pebble falls from the tent roof and hits him on the head. He yelps. The soldiers assume he is greeting them in some advanced warrior fashion. This is the story of how the greatest military mind in Joseon history, and its biggest secret coward, fell in love with a woman who could kill him 7 different ways. In that order. Morning. The military camp. Sergeant Park is cooking. Soldiers train. General Choi sits at his map table eating rice with the careful precision of a man who controls every aspect of every situation he can control because other situations are terrifying. Why did the Joseon soldier become a general? Because he was too scared to fight but too smart to be stopped. The soldiers all point at the general's tent while saying this. He pretends not to hear. Sergeant Park, narrating to new recruits while stirring a pot, see that tent? That's where the general does his thinking. He thinks so hard you can hear it. Last week he thought so hard the whole camp went quiet for 2 hours. We all believed he was having a spiritual experience. Recruit number 1. What was he actually doing? Sergeant Park, a spider had gotten into his tent. He was waiting for it to leave of its own accord. It did not. Recruit number 2, what happened? Sergeant Park, oh, Deoksa removed it. The general promoted him that same day. General Choi emerges from his tent, immaculately dressed, looking commanding. General Choi, good morning. Status report. Lieutenant O, northern perimeter secure. The southern patrol returned. Enemy scouts spotted 3 leagues east. And, sir, a new courier arrived from the palace. He hands the general a sealed scroll. Choi reads it. His eye twitches once. General Choi, a royal inspector is being sent to evaluate my campaign. She will be embedded with the unit. Lieutenant O, she, sir? General Choi, that is what it says. Sergeant Park, from across the camp, somehow already knowing, a woman? In this camp. Am going to need more rice. A figure on horseback arrives at the camp gate. Moon Harang rides like someone who learned to ride before she learned to walk, which is approximately accurate. She dismounts, surveys the camp, and looks at the soldiers the way a chess grandmaster looks at a half-finished game someone else left on the table. Harang, to the gate guard, pleasantly. Moon Harang, Royal Inspector, 3rd Bureau. I'm here to evaluate General Choi's campaign effectiveness. Gate guard, intimidated despite himself, I'll. Announce yourself. Inspector. She is already walking past him. She has noticed 4 things about this camp in the first 12 seconds that tell her something is off, and she is filing them all away. She finds General Choi at his map table. He looks up. They regard each other. General Choi, standing, formal, Inspector Moon. Welcome to the northern camp. Harang, looking around, Your strategic tent is positioned 500 meters from the nearest skirmish zone. General Choi, for an unobstructed view of the entire battlefield. Harang, you can't see the battlefield from here. That hill is in the way. General Choi, pause. For a comprehensive view of the hill, then. Harang, a small smile that means many things, of course, General. I'm here to learn from you. She sits down uninvited. Choi stares. Nobody sits uninvited in his tent. He opens his mouth. She is already studying his maps. Harang, you repositioned the Eastern Cavalry before the last engagement. General Choi, correct. Harang, that's not a standard formation. No one would have predicted that movement. General Choi, no. They did not. Harang, looking up at him directly, did you come up with that yourself? General Choi, of course. Harang, just checking. Her eyes staring, she said, I know something. His eyes voice, what exactly do you know? Her eyes say, not yet. Why do Joseon generals always win? Because they plan the battle from so far back that by the time they arrive, the soldiers have already sorted it out themselves. The general is just there to take credit and avoid the mud. Night. Camp is quieter. Harang sits outside writing her report. General Choi approaches with 2 cups of barley tea, an unusually domestic gesture for a military commander. General Choi, offering a cup, you didn't eat at the mess. Harang, I was observing. General Choi, observing what? Harang, everything. Accepts the tea. Why are you being nice to me? General Choi, you're a guest in my camp. Harang, I'm an inspector evaluating your fitness for command. General Choi, you're also a person who hasn't eaten since morning. Both things are simultaneously true. Harang looks at him, recalibrating slightly. Harang, most commanders treat royal inspectors like inconvenient furniture. General Choi, I have nothing to hide. The specific cadence of this lie is absolutely perfect. She almost believes it. Harang, tell me about your first battle. General Choi, carefully, the Battle of the Stone River. 14 years ago. We were outnumbered 3-1. Harang, and you won. General Choi, my soldiers won. I contributed to the plan. Harang, where were you during the fighting? General Choi, without missing a beat, coordinating the second reserve from the elevated position. Harang, which elevated position? General Choi, the tactically significant one. Harang, nodding slowly, of course. Another silence. This one is warmer than the first. Harang, the tea is good. General Choi, Sergeant Park makes it. He puts ginger in when the temperature drops. Harang, you notice things like that. General Choi, I notice everything. It's what I do instead of other things. She files this away. He realizes he has said slightly too much. They both look at the night sky with the elaborate casualness of people pretending they are not very aware of each other. Morning drill. Harang watches soldiers train. Choi stands next to her looking like a general, which he is very good at doing. Harang, I'd like to observe your personal combat assessment. General Choi, my personal. Harang, swordsmanship. Unarmed technique. Standard evaluation for field commanders. Choi smiles the smile of a man whose brain is working very fast. General Choi, I have a strategic philosophy about a general who personally engages in combat. Harang, oh. What's the philosophy? General Choi, a general who fights is a general who's not thinking. And thinking is what I do best. Harang, so you have not fought in personal combat since? General Choi, a very long pause. A very long time. Lieutenant O, appearing suddenly, very helpfully. The general's combat skills are legendary, Inspector. Why, just last week he demonstrated a sword form to the new recruits that left them absolutely speechless. General Choi, oh, Deoksu, I'm not sure you need to. Lieutenant O, he held the sword with such authority. Such presence. Such. General Choi, through his teeth, such economy of movement. Lieutenant O, yes. He barely moved at all. It was philosophical. Why is O Deoksu the best lieutenant in Joseon? Because he is the only man alive who can say something completely true and make it sound like a compliment at the same time. Harang looks at Oh, smiles proudly. The general puts his head in his hands. Harang is clearly entertained. She pulls a training sword from a nearby rack. Harang, shall we spar? Just to warm up. Nothing serious. Choi looks at the training sword. He looks at Harang. He looks at the sword again. He is doing mathematics. General Choi, Inspector Moon. Harang, already in a combat stance, fluid and terrifying. Don't worry, General. I'll go slowly. He takes the sword. He holds it correctly. This is important. He holds it perfectly. He was trained. He knows exactly what to do. He is simply terrified of doing it. They spar. He parries, deflects, and retreats. She presses forward. He is good, technically good, and absolutely refusing to attack. Every time she opens a gap for him, he doesn't take it. Harang, low, just to him. You could have taken that opening. Twice. General Choi, also low. I was assessing your defensive response. Harang, for 30 seconds. General Choi, I'm very thorough. She sweeps his feet. He goes down. She pins the training sword at his throat. 2 centimeters. Her face is right above his. Harang, well. You have excellent defensive technique. General. General Choi, with enormous dignity, considering he is on his back in the dirt. Thank you. Harang, pulling back, offering a hand up, you're welcome. He takes her hand. She pulls him up. They both feel the pull a moment longer than is strictly necessary. Both let go. Step back. Look at different things. Harang has been in camp 3 days. She is writing a very interesting report. It does not yet say what she expected to write. Sergeant Park finds her sitting alone at the cook fire, frowning at her notes. Sergeant Park, you're frowning at those papers like they owe you money. Harang, I'm completing an evaluation. Sergeant Park, sitting down uninvited, as is his nature, and what have you evaluated? Harang, that your general is either the most brilliant defensive strategist in Joseon history, or Sergeant Park, or Harang, never mind. How long have you served under him? Sergeant Park, 9 years. Best commander I've ever had. Harang, why? Sergeant Park, completely genuine, he actually worries about us. Most commanders treat soldiers like arrows. Fire them, lose them, get new ones. The general knows every man's name. Knows who has a sick mother at home. Knows who shouldn't be on night patrol because his eyesight is going. He fights every battle on paper 4 times before he sends a single man forward. Our casualty rate is the lowest of any northern command. By far. Harang writes this down. It is not what advisor Kim sent her to find. Sergeant Park. Also, he screamed when a crab got into the supply tent last month. But we don't talk about that. Harang, a crab. Sergeant Park, it startled him. The crab moved unexpectedly. He's fine now. The crab is also fine. We released it at the river. What do you call a Joseon general who is afraid of crabs? A man who has never met a crab with strategic ambitions. Sergeant Park says this. Harang almost spits out her tea. This is the first time anyone has seen her almost lose composure. Night. Without warning, enemy scouts breach the outer perimeter. A sharp, fast raid, not a full assault, a targeted strike. The camp erupts. Drums, alarm, shouts. Harang is already moving before anyone else. She dispatches 2 enemy scouts in the first 40 seconds with the efficiency of someone doing something she finds very routine. General Choi runs out of his tent in full armor. He sleeps in his armor during campaigns, a fact Lieutenant OH attributes to preparedness, which is actually because getting into armor quickly under stress makes his hands shake and stops dead at the sight of Harang fighting. General Choi, to O, grabbing his arm, she's. Lieutenant O, extraordinary, sir. Yes. General Choi, she just did that thing with the. Lieutenant OH, the elbow. Yes, sir. General Choi, where did she learn? Lieutenant O, sir. 3 enemy soldiers are coming from the left. General Choi, Without missing a beat, pointing, second squad, formation 7, intercept. They go. He stays. He is still watching Harang fight. He is watching her in the way that people watch things that rearrange their understanding of the world. An enemy soldier gets past her. Coming straight at Choi. The general draws his sword. Correct grip. Perfect form. Does not move. Enemy soldier. In northern dialect, ghost tiger. Freezes, terrified at the sight of the legendary general. The man's terror of the myth gives Choi 2 seconds. In those 2 seconds, Harang appears behind the soldier and ends the fight with surgical speed. She stands in front of Choi. He is still holding his sword in perfect form. He has not attacked. Or moved. Harang, breathing normally, because this is simply her Tuesday. Are you hurt? General Choi, no. Harang, you didn't move. General Choi, I was. Letting you handle it. Harang, looking at him, the sword, the frozen posture, of course you were. In the chaos and torchlight, something has shifted between them. She saw everything. He knows she saw everything. Neither says what they now both know. Camp is being secured. Harang sits at the edge of the supply area, cleaning her blade. Choi sits opposite her. They are alone for the first time without the performance of evaluation between them. General Choi, after a long silence, how long have you known? Harang, since the sparring. General Choi, and before that? Harang, I suspected from the tent position. Confirmed it at the crab incident. General Choi, mortified, you know about the crab. Harang, everyone knows about the crab. General Choi, stands, turns away, I suppose you'll report it. Harang, I haven't decided. He turns back. General Choi, why not? It's exactly what advisor Kim sent you to find. Harang, looks up sharply, how do you know who sent me? General Choi, because I know Kim. He's been looking for leverage against me for 3 years. I'm the only senior commander who won't let him control military appointments. So he sent someone to find my weakness. Harang, a pause, you're more observant than you look. General Choi, I'm observant about everything except the thing that directly terrifies me. It's a very specific gap in my abilities. Why is the general afraid to fight but good at everything else? His mother told him as a boy, use your head, not your fists. He took this extremely literally. For 32 years. He says this himself, grimly. Harang laughs before she can stop herself. He looks at her. This is the first time he has made her laugh. He files it away like a precious map coordinate. Harang, still smiling, controlling it, 37 battles, Choi Won. 0 losses. The lowest casualty rate in Northern Command history. Whatever you are, you're very good at it. General Choi, I'm a coward who is very good at planning. There is a difference between being good at something and being what people think you are. Harang, quietly, yes. There is. Something in how she says this suggests it is not only about him. He notices. Files it away. Morning. They have been talking, it seems, through the night. Maps are spread between them. Her notes are open. His plans are open. Neither planned this. Harang, if I don't report what I found, Kim will send someone else. Someone less. Discriminating. General Choi, I know. Harang, and if I report it, he uses it to remove you. He installs his own commander. A man who will spend soldiers' lives the way Kim spends money, freely and without conscience. General Choi, also correct. Harang, so our options I report, you fall, and Kim wins. Or, General Choi, or we find something on Kim first. Something large enough that his desire to expose me becomes considerably less appealing. Harang looks at him. Harang, you already have something. General Choi, producing a sealed document from inside his map case. 3 years of Kim redirecting military supply funds. Small amounts, consistently, to a trading house his cousin owns. I've been waiting for the right moment to use it. Harang, why haven't you used it already? General Choi, because the right moment is when he has fully committed to a move against me. When he's exposed himself. That moment is now. Harang stares at him for a moment. Then, Harang, you've been playing him for 3 years. General Choi, I told you. I'm very good at planning. Harang, something shifting in her face, from past professional to personal. You let him send me here. Knowing what I was. General Choi, I didn't know what you specifically were. I knew he'd send someone. Harang, and yet here you are, telling me your secrets and showing me your evidence. General Choi, meeting her eyes, here I am. A very long moment between them. The morning light is coming through the tent seam. Lieutenant O, bursting in, spectacularly terrible timing, sir. Enemy forces are massing fully north. Looks like a major push. And, sees the evidence document. Oh. Are we doing the Kim thing? Did the inspector, is she, wait, are we trusting her? General Choi, with enormous patience, O Deoksu. Enemy forces. Lieutenant O, right. Yes. To Harang. Welcome to the team. To Choi, enemy forces, sir. Why is Lieutenant O, Deoksu, the perfect second-in-command? He arrives at the worst possible moment with the best possible loyalty. Joseon proverb. A good lieutenant is like sunrise, reliable, consistent, and occasionally you wish it would wait 5 more minutes. Sergeant Park says this from just outside the tent. Everyone pretends not to hear him. The full assault. Commander Baek Jun has chosen this moment. This is the largest engagement the camp has seen. Drums. Fire arrows. Everything. Full battle chaos, arrows, drums, clashing steel. Choi is at the map table, commanding with a calm that is extraordinary, because his hands are absolutely shaking under the table, but his voice is completely steady. General Choi, Western formation holds the ridge. Reserve cavalry, circle to the eastern bank. Not yet, now. Oh, Deoksu, the second squad covers the left flank. Lieutenant O, running out, yes sir. Harang fights through the camp perimeter, cutting a path through the enemy vanguard that breached the outer wall. She is extraordinary. Commander Baek Jun himself breaches the inner camp. Big, experienced, completely furious. He heads directly for the command tent. Commander Baek, shouting, Ghost Tiger. Choi Won. Face me. He enters the tent. General Choi is alone. He sent everyone forward. He stands up from the map table. His sword is drawn. He is in perfect form. He is absolutely petrified. Commander Baek, slowing, taking him in, you're smaller than I expected. General Choi, you're larger than tactically advisable. Commander Baek, I've waited 9 years to face you. Every battle you've stayed behind. Always directing. Never fighting. I began to wonder if you were real. General Choi, I'm very real. I just prefer a more holistic approach to conflict. Commander Baek, fight me. General Choi, backing up 1 step, perfectly calm, I'm considering it. Commander Baek, considering. He swings. Choi parries. Perfect. Correct. Absolutely refuses to follow through. Baek swings again. Choi parries again. They are going in a circle. Choi is circling toward the tent exit. He is stalling with technical perfection. Commander Baek, increasingly baffled. Why are you not attacking? General Choi, I'm creating an opportunity. Commander Baek, for what? Harang enters through the back of the tent like a very annoyed and extremely efficient force of nature. She disarms Baek in 4 moves, pins him, and has his own sword at his throat in the time it takes Choi to exhale. Harang, to Baek, pleasantly, surrender. Commander Baek, to Choi, outraged and confused. You brought a woman to your fight? General Choi, with complete dignity, Inspector Moon handles personal combat. I handle strategy. We have an effective division of responsibilities. Commander Baek, that is the most shameless. Harang, surrender. Commander Baek, deflating. Surrendered. Distant shouts, they're retreating. Victory. Harang looks at Choi over Baek's head. He looks back. He mouths, thank you. She mouths, you owe me. He mouths, I know. This is, in its way, a love declaration. The camp celebrates. Soldiers sing, shout, and pour wine. Someone has made a truly enormous bonfire. Sergeant Park has produced food from apparently nowhere. Sergeant Park, distributing rice cakes, explaining to whoever will listen, we won. Again. Because the general thought very hard, the inspector fought very efficiently, and Lieutenant O ran around shouting in the correct directions. A perfect team. Lieutenant OH, slightly drunk on 1 cup of wine because he's that kind of person. This is the happiest day of my career. Except for the time I removed the spider. Also a great day. Korean military celebration proverb. After a victory, the soldiers eat. After a great victory, the general finally exhales. After a legendary victory, someone inevitably takes credit in a way the actual participants find mildly irritating. Sergeant Park delivers this wisdom to the new recruits, who are listening very carefully because it is directly in front of the general's tent and everyone can hear it through the canvas. Inside the tent, Choi and Harang sit with the prisoner report between them. The camp noise is warm outside. Harang, that was not how I expected today to go. General Choi, how did you expect it to go? Harang, I expected to find one cowardly general, write one simple report, and go back to Seoul. General Choi, and instead? Harang, and instead I have been here 10 days, and I have a prisoner report, a corruption file, and trails off. General Choi, and? Harang, not looking at him, a significantly more complicated situation. General Choi, gently, is it complicated? She looks at him. The bonfire light through the tent. His face doing something that is not quite a general's face anymore. Harang, yes. Pause. It is absolutely yes. Seoul. The Royal Palace District. Choi and Harang return together to the capital. Choi summoned for a military review, Harang to submit her evaluation. Advisor Kim is waiting. The palace halls. Advisor Kim receives them with the smile of a man who believes he holds all the cards. Advisor Kim, Inspector Moon. General Choi. What a victory. The court is very pleased. Inspector Moon, I've been eager for your full evaluation. Pointed, everything you observed. Harang, pleasantly, it's a thorough report, Advisor. You'll find it comprehensive. Advisor Kim, excellent. The full truth about our celebrated general, laid out clearly. Harang, the full truth. Yes. Kim almost smiles. Choi's face is entirely neutral. His hands are steady. Advisor Kim, to Choi, I'm sure you're not concerned, General. A man of your reputation has nothing to worry about. General Choi, completely pleasantly. None whatsoever, Advisor. I've always been very comfortable with full transparency. Have you? The tiniest flinch. Kim recovers it. Choi sees it. Harang sees it. Nobody mentions it. Korean court proverb. The man who lays a trap should always check whether he is standing in it. Sergeant Park says this from outside the palace gate to a palace guard who did not ask. The guard considers it. Nods slowly. Something about it lands. Kim moves fast. He has a second source, a soldier he bribed in the camp. The soldier has provided a written account of the crab incident, the spider, and the general's habit of covering his ears during distant battle noise. Damning if incomplete. He presents it to a closed session of the military council before Harang's report is filed. 3 senior ministers. Advisor Kim, the evidence is clear. General Choi's command performance is built on a fabrication. He has never personally engaged in combat. His subordinates fight while he hides. I move for immediate suspension pending review. Minister number 1. These are serious charges. Advisor Kim. Serious and documented. The doors open. Harang enters. Uninvited. Behind her, Choi. Behind him, Lieutenant O, carrying a document case. Behind O, Sergeant Park, who has somehow gotten into the royal palace and is eating a rice cake. Minister number 2. This is a closed session. Harang. I apologize for the interruption. I have a complete evaluation to submit, plus supplementary documentation relevant to this council. Advisor Kim. Cold, Inspector Moon. Your evaluation will be heard after. Harang. My evaluation states that General Choi Won is the most effective field commander in the Northern Theater. His strategic decisions have saved an estimated 800 soldier lives over 14 years compared to peer commanders with equivalent engagements. His casualty rate is categorically unmatched. Minister number 1. And his personal combat record? Harang, a beat, a commander who does not personally fight is not a coward. He is a man who has correctly identified his highest value. General Choi's value is in his mind. Every soldier who came home to his family came home because of that mind. The room is quiet. Kim's jaw is tight. Advisor Kim, controlled fury. Inspector Moon, your personal feelings about the general are not a Harang. I also submit this. She places the corruption file on the table. 3 years. Names. Amounts. Dates. The trading house. Kim's cousin's name on every document. Harang, the military supply redirection file, compiled by General Choi over 36 months. I think the council will find it considerably more relevant than a discussion about crabs. Complete silence. Every minister is reading. Kim has gone very still. Sergeant Park, from the back, quietly, to Oh, the crab is going to become famous. I feel it. Lieutenant Oh, also quietly, sure. Kim does not go quietly. As Choi and Harang leave the council chamber, 2 men, Kim's private guard, are waiting in the corridor. Not subtle. Not legal. Desperate. Harang sees them a full 3 seconds before anyone else. She calculates. Harang, quietly, to Choi, behind me. Right now. General Choi, I'm not going to. Harang. Choi Won. Behind me. The guards move. Harang moves faster. The corridor fight is short, efficient, and completely humiliating for the guards. Lieutenant OH takes one down from behind with a document case, which is thick enough to make an impressive sound. Sergeant Park trips the third one with absolutely no apparent effort and then looks innocent. The 4th guard grabs Harang from behind. She has it handled, she does, but Choi moves without thinking. He takes the man's arm, removes him from Harang with technically correct application of force, and stands between her and the guard. He is shaking slightly. But he is there. He is there. The guard, taking one look at the legendary general's face at close range, decides surrender is strategically optimal. Harang stares at Choi's back. He turns around. He is more surprised than anyone. Harang, you just. General Soi, processing. Yes. Harang, you moved. General Soi, he had you. Harang, I had him. General Soi, I know. But he had you. Another silence. Completely different quality from all the previous silences. Lieutenant OH, pressing his hand to his heart, genuinely moved. That's the most romantic thing I've ever seen the general do. Sergeant Park, he said he had her. He literally said he had her. Lieutenant OH, he moved for her. Sergeant Park, he moved. Lieutenant OH, to Harang, he's never moved for anything. He once stood completely still while a wasp built half a nest on his hat because he didn't want to startle it. Choi covers his face with his hand. Harang is smiling. Really smiling, not the assessing smile or the professional smile. The council chamber. The evidence has been reviewed. Kim stands before 3 ministers, his guard arrested in the corridor, his corruption file open on the table. Minister number 1. Advisor Kim. The supply redirection is documented across 36 months. Do you have a response? Advisor Kim, one last try, the general's personal combat record. Minister number 2, has been assessed by Inspector Moon and found adequate for his command responsibilities. What the general does in his tent, advisor, is somewhat less concerning to us than what you have been doing with the military supply budget. Advisor Kim. Minister number 3, suspension pending formal review. Guards, please. Kim is escorted out. He passes General Choi in the corridor. He stops. Advisor Kim, quietly, furious, you planned all of this. General Soi, just as quietly, I plan everything, advisor. It's what I do instead of fighting. Kim is taken away. Choi watches him go. He exhales once. Deeply. Korean proverb, The man who digs a pit for others should first measure his own depth. Advisor Kim did not measure. General Choi, who measures everything, measured it for him. Sergeant Park delivers this to the palace gate guard again. The gate guard nods again. He is starting to think Sergeant Park is some kind of prophet. Evening. A palace pavilion rooftop. Seoul spread below. Harang and Choi sit side by side, not for any official reason, simply because they both came here. Harang, what happens now? General Choi. Kim faces review. I'll be reassigned for the winter. Probably the Southern Command. You'll get your next mission from the Bureau. Harang, that's what happens with the court. What happens with? She doesn't finish the sentence. He doesn't pretend he doesn't know what she means. General Choi, I don't know. I have a plan for every military scenario I've ever encountered. I don't have a plan for this. Harang, the great strategist has no plan. General Choi, the great strategist is working on one. It's still in early development. Harang, what does the early development look like? General Choi, looking at her, it involves being in the same location as you. Repeatedly. With increasing frequency. And possibly, at some point, when I have adequately assessed the risk. Harang. Choi Won. General Choi, yes? Harang, you fought for me in a corridor today. General Choi, that was a situational response. Harang, you were shaking. General Choi, I was cold. Harang, it's not cold. General Choi, quietly, no. It was not cold. She takes his hand. Not dramatically. Just takes it. Harang, for a man who plans everything, you're very bad at the part that comes after the plan. General Choi, I know. It's a documented weakness. Harang, lucky for you, I'm a spy. I'm very good at navigating unclear situations. General Choi, the smile of a man who has just decided something. Is that so? Harang, professionally speaking. General Choi, and unprofessionally speaking? She looks at him. He looks at her. Below them, Seoul glitters in the evening. Harang, unprofessionally speaking, I have been in this situation for approximately 10 days, and I'm choosing to stop pretending otherwise. He lifts their joined hands slightly. Just slightly. General Choi, that's a very efficient resolution strategy. Harang, quietly laughing, stop talking about strategy. General Choi, right. He does. 1 month later. The Northern Camp. Business as usual. New campaign. New maps. The tent. The war table. Sergeant Park at the cook fire, narrating to a new batch of recruits. Sergeant Park, see that tent? That's where the general does his thinking. He thinks so hard you can hear it. The general has never lost a battle. 38 now. He will never lose a battle. I say this with complete confidence. Recruit number 1. Why? Sergeant Park, because the inspector is here now. And whatever she can't plan, she handles personally. It's a very complimentary arrangement. Recruit number 2, she's still here? Sergeant Park, transferred. Permanently assigned to Northern Command. New title, Military Intelligence Coordinator. Very official. Very professional. Recruit number 1, and the general? Is he different? Inside the tent, Choi at the war table, planning. Harang beside him, reading a report. Deoksu enters with dispatches. All three discuss the map with focused efficiency. Then Choi says something low to Harang. She shakes her head. He says something else. She suppresses a smile. Sergeant Park, watching, is exactly the same. Brilliant. Careful. Plans everything 12 times before acting. Recruit number 2, so nothing's changed? Sergeant Park, considering, he moved his tent 50 meters closer to the action last week. Nobody mentioned it. Beat. Progress is progress. Korean saying, even the longest journey begins with one step. The general's first step was 50 meters. We have expectations for year 2. Sergeant Park says this. The recruits laugh. Deoksu, passing by, nods in complete agreement. Inside the tent, The general and the inspector are already 2 steps ahead of the next problem, because that is what they do, because that is what they are, because that is the story of how the greatest military mind in Joseon history and the most dangerous woman in 3 kingdoms found each other in a camp 500 meters from the nearest skirmish zone and decided, together, that was exactly close enough. Fade out. Bonfire light. Stars. The sound of the camp settling in for the night.